Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Ellithorpe with Tustin Longevity Center here in Southern California, and we are on our weekly 6 o'clock Tuesday night broadcast. Today's date is October 3rd, 2023, and this is Ask the Doctor Anything. So we are a group of about eight um, healthcare providers, medical doctors, naturopathic physicians, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, and we have our new uh, health counseling support on Wednesdays. And so we are a group of physicians and healthcare providers who are interested in trying to look at the world of questions out there that you're trying to sort through and take some time, at least 1 hour a week, and get through as many questions as we can. So we have these emails that come in. If you're on our tlcdoctors.com website, you can get on our email list, and then you'll get notified when we're going to do this. Plus, there's a link on that notification that will give you information to a link to type in a question. Now, some of these questions are way too long and trying to go into a medical history or so forth. So I have 7 pages. I don't think I'll be able to get through it. I've been up since about 4 o'clock this morning and going nonstop at 70 years old. So there you have it. But I'll do my best. And we have the live chat right here. And for those of you who are online and you type in the live chat, I will defer to that whenever I see it go up. So with that, let's start with our questions. This is first email question is from Eric. What is your experience in detoxifying the spike protein out of the body and your suggested approach? My wife recently, 5 days ago, had a ischemic stroke in her right carotid artery, caused from multiple dissections, which is believed to come from an overstressed CrossFit workout. But the why is unclear. She's an extremely healthy 41-year-old Caucasian woman who went through vigorous training as a firefighter, cross-country runner, gave birth to 2 children naturally without any painkiller. She has no negative medical history, lives a healthy life. We are researching the possibility of spike protein in her system derived from the COVID vaccine, causing unexplainable weakening of the interior artery walls. Any suggestions or resources you could provide would be greatly appreciated. Well, I'm so sorry to hear that, Eric, about your wife. The good news is we are fearfully and wonderfully made by the membranes here. This double lipid membrane is what you really need to burn into your brain. Everyone needs to burn this into the brain. This is where the injury is, and this is how we have to heal it every day. And so how do we heal this? Well, every cell in your human body and the lining of your blood vessels are made of this double membrane, and it's 50% fat and it's 50% protein. It's not made of any fruits and vegetables. So all these years, they've been frightening you from eating eggs, eating meat, eating pork and ham and lamb and chicken and the skin of the chicken and so forth. And now we have the mess that we're in. But we are fearfully and wonderfully made, and I've seen tremendous recoveries. So this double layer, these are phospholipids that hang in both directions like a sandwich. You could peel this apart. And when something injures that membrane, and this is what the top layer of the endothelium of the lining of your blood vessels looks like. Now it's got little things, receptors on it, glycocalyx, and that has to be taken care of and fixed every night. So we talk about this a lot, and you have to eat right. So you have to eat a low carbohydrate diet. You have to drink enough water to keep the blood vessel and the hydraulic pressures moving through exercise. You have to stop eating late at night. We use the EDTA chelation therapy, which helps to remove the spike protein because the spike protein is a cation, which is positive. This is the spike. And EDTA, the amino acid, is attracted to that and helps pull it out. Systemic enzymes like Vitalzym or Vascuzyme, Wobenzyme, proteolytic enzymes that have things like streptokinase and bromelain and nanokinase in it. And we've been doing this for decades. So none of my patients had this problem. And even those who had medical issues, problems, they went ahead and they've been trying to take their enzymes, trying to do some chelations, trying to be low carb, which stops the stickiness of the blood and slowing it down so that clots and damage can form. All my patients did fabulously. Of course, we did other things. We did nutraceuticals, and we didn't have to use any of these things. We had the vitamin D, we had the zinc. All my patients had the D, had the zinc. All my patients had the low carb diet, plenty of water, enzymes, chelation therapy with the vitamin C in it. So all my patients did well. And I have tremendous elderly patients, and many with they're overweight or hypertensive or cancer or diabetes. None of them were hospitalized, got sick. None, zero, nada. So we are giving the thanks unto the Lord Almighty for his wonderful wisdom and thankfulness to him that he brought us up to regard his creation and to regard trying to look at first causes. So I'm published in repairing this. I've been doing this since the 1990s. I have been doing chelation since I was 16 years old, and I'm 70 now. I have been around so many great minds in medicine who can claim that they know it all, or who can claim that they're so smart. We all are standing on one another's shoulders. So I'm standing on the shoulders of all these wonderful people who came before me, including my own father, who was in food research. And I have been teaching about the foundation of healing anywhere in your human body. What the problem is, though, is marketing, and the billions paid to psychologists and psychiatrists and to think tanks about how to bend your mind and make you buy and make you habitually think of a product and draw you like a zombie to eating that product and getting you addicted to high fructose corn syrup and sugary items or the taste of salt. You can get addicted to salt. You can get addicted to anything. You can get addicted to eating fat. You have to be an independent human being, and you have to think and understand your frontal lobe is your reasoning, whereas your cravings are more in the limbic system in your lower brain functions. And God gave us this frontal brain to fill with wisdom and love and judgment and compassion. So one of the things I do every day of my life is I read my Bible every day, 4 chapters every day, every single day of my life, so that I can screw my head on right and get my discipline right and my reason for why I do what I do, because your creation, God, I say, is so valuable, and I'm going to see him today. How can I help them? How can I support them? And it isn't like I have some great miracle or great secret knowledge. God has given us healing written in the book of our DNA, right in that Bible there, Psalm 139, around verse 18. David talks about how written in the book of my book, which is the DNA, is all the formation before it was formed. So he's already talking about DNA in this book. So you want to talk about something fabulous and scientific based. The Bible is scientific. So anyway, we have had such a blessing and such good health because we remind patients you can heal. We remind patients every day God has given and written in the DNA how to repair yourself. What I'm here to do is try and be a traffic control cop and remind you, don't speed, don't park where you shouldn't park, or check the air in your tires, that kind of stuff. And we are here doing the basics every day. Every time you come here, water, water, water. Are you drinking enough? Every time. Cut the sugar, starch, bread, pasta, carbohydrate down. Every day we say, don't eat late. When the sun goes down, don't eat after that. When we are here, we're saying, how much do you move every day? How much do you exercise? When we come here, we say, the immune system lining the gut is about 80% of your entire defense. Why would you just throw things down your throat for variety and for taste and for fun, and variety and for taste and for fun? You have to say, I am eating today because I have purpose to serve the family I love, the friends I love, my coworkers whom I love. My purpose is to be of service to them. So I'm going to eat something so that this container I'm in, because you see this container on the video, this material is going to pass away, but the essence of the person talking to you is eternal, because I'm already forgiven. As a Christian, I know I will never die. My body may die, but I will never die. And so I don't have to worry about being gorgeous, or shopping, or traveling all over the world, or seeing fun stuff. I can see plenty of fun stuff in eternity. I can do fantastic things in eternity. So let's back off, cut the carbs, take our enzymes, drink the water, exercise every day, never eat late, do the chelation with those enzymes, take quercetin, our vitamin D hist, or seasonal allergies. Get about 400 to 800 milligrams of quercetin in every day. Get your vitamin D in, check your levels and see that they're between 80 and 100. Have your chemistry to check your liver enzymes. Get your insulin, your fasting blood sugar, your triglycerides, all in ideal ranges. Fasting sugar should never be above 85. Triglycerides should be never any higher than your HDL. Your hemoglobin A1C should be 5.2 or less. Your fasting insulin should be 4 or less. And then you stay healthy. You stay healthy. And that's what we do. And if you do that for all of the complaints that you have, your body will tend to resist disease, cancer, diabetes, dementia, strokes, heart attacks, everything. And if we eat a simple one menu day, what do we mean by that? That's eating a menu where, let's say you have, I had liver and onions tonight. And I typically only eat one meal a day, but if I ate 2 meals, I would save or make enough liver and onions so that I could have that for tomorrow's lunch. And then tomorrow night dinner, I'll have maybe chicken with the skin on it, roasted with green beans. And I'll have enough of it so I can have that for lunch tomorrow. Then the third day, I would have maybe a salmon and asparagus. And then I would make enough of it so I could warm it up for lunch. And then the fourth day, maybe I'll have steak and broccoli, and I'll have enough of it so I can have it for lunch. So it's a one menu day. So this whole immune system lining my gut is not saying wild spices, wild variety, and it's very low carb. All right, hopefully that helps you, Eric. Diane, in the last 2 weeks, my hair is falling out at an alarming rate. Is there a supplement, vitamin, or food that might be causing this? I started doing lymphatic massages about 10 days ago. Diane, I don't know how old you are or what concurrent illnesses you may have, or whether you're hypothyroid or hyperthyroid. I don't know what your serum blood protein is, blood urea nitrogen, total protein. I don't know what all these things are on you. So you have to eat protein to make the protein of your hair. So you have to eat tons of it. I mean, we have been shied away and shooed away from eating all this wonderful bioavailable meat, fish, chicken, turkey, beef, liver, and eggs and so forth. I eat a ton of it. I remember, I want to talk about marketing. At 70 years old, and I was in the 1950s in my father's food research lab in Chicago. My mom got real sick or something. I was the last baby. I must have been 4 years old. And so dad took me to work all the time. And so I was there around all the labs and the bubbling bottles and all the food research. And they put me in the taste testing room. And I heard men talking about advertisement and how they could make us eat SHIT and love it. And so the TV dinners, they were starting and they would have an off taste. And so they had to learn how to hydrogenate the fats so that the off taste or the rotting of the food would slow down so you couldn't perceive it, and how they would put any drug they wanted or seasoning or chemical to cover it up so you'll buy it and eat it. Anyway, they're advertising and I would listen to these men. And there was a commercial and it goes, I can even at 70 years old remember hot dogs, Armour hot dogs. What kind of kids eat Armour hot dogs? Fat kids, skinny kids, kids who climb on rocks, short kids, tall kids, even kids who have chicken pox love hot dogs. Armour hot dogs, the dogs kids love to eat. So do you see how deep that's embedded into my limbic memory that I can pull it out just like that? So you don't think that eating your junk food and succumbing to eating these things isn't driven through deep manipulative marketing to treat you like a zombie? Develop your front brain, develop your parameters, develop why you eat, develop these things. There's a website called foodaddiction.com, and that doctor talks about all the marketing that went into trigger these food addictions that are harming us in so many, many, many ways. Foodaddictions.com. What is her name? Jane Illapod or something like that. I was just listening to her at around 4 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, so I think you will enjoy that. So your hair is falling out. You got to eat the protein. I have been doing EDTA chelation most heavily since my 40s. I started when I was 16 when I got a myocarditis. I am one of the kids who got a myocarditis at age 15. I was hospitalized 4 months. I was in cardiac care. I was resuscitated. Back then in the 1960s, I think the mortality rate was 90%. But my dad came in with shots in my butt of high dose vitamin C, and God only knows all the things he shot into my butt. And then he took me to Ray Evers, the father of chelation therapy, in Andalusia, Alabama, and I started chelation there. And bingo, within 3 years, I'm married and I passed my flight physical for ROTC college, and it's history now what happened. My husband marched me over to the college and he said, you go to school, and I think I was 18, and he said, I promised your father that I would let you get a college education. And so he was in the military, and I went to college and I studied like a good obedient wife. Anyway, so that's that story. So Diane, I think the chelation helped my microcirculation to my hair. I think all the protein I've eaten has helped my hair. And you need to work with a doctor that will look at those things and just start eating tons of protein and every day, but don't eat late. Leah says, what treatment protocols for chronic late-stage Lyme Bartonella have you seen the most success with? Have you seen patients successfully treat with only herbs versus antibiotics? Actually, I've only seen combinations. Leah, I see long-term use of doxycycline And I think I've seen it combined usually with something like a broad spectrum um, antibiotic, sulfur antibiotic, and we're talking like 6 months. But if you mix all these healthy lifestyles, the water, the exercise, the proteins that go in to repairing the protein and stuff here, and then you get a little circulation going by with EDTA chelation and enzymes to clean out the little blood vessels that are clogged and go low carb, then that's how your immune system is healed with this 1 day menu. And the lining of your gut is literally, this is the lining of your gut as well. Every time you put in wild food, you're creating all this hurt right here in holes. So the person who's going to have the greatest immune system is going to be the low carb patient with the enzymes, doing chelation with vitamin C, taking vitamin D, not eating late, exercising, drinking their water. That's just the way it'll be, and it'll help grow your hair. Debbie says, "Hi, Dr. Ellithorpe. I'm 61, no family history of breast cancer. I have had routine mammograms from age 40 on, so you must have had 21 mammograms by now. I've seen articles lately regarding the pros and cons and wanted your opinion. If there is no history of cancer, is the yearly radiation harmful? All radiation is harmful. Even low doses, all radiation is harmful. Is every year necessary? The standard recommended state boards and the College of Gynecology and Oncology all recommend this. Don't tell me what science they're quoting for it. Don't tell me what great reduction in breast cancer they've noted because they instituted this since the early 1970s. Don't ask for science to back up that recommendation. But that's the standard of care. Can I do it less often to minimize any negative effect? You're in charge of your own body, ladies and gentlemen. I don't do any mammograms. I tell my patients, though, I have to report the standard of care in California is to recommend an annual mammogram. That's the standard. And I write out the prescription for the mammogram, and I tell them that's the standard. But I tell them that cancer is a mitochondrial metabolic disease. I've been teaching this for over, I don't know, since I worked with Stanislaw Brzezinski in the 1990s. With his anti-neoplastin P53 gene, worked on his publications, and we've known this. So I've been low carb ever since, and so it's nothing new to me. And so you own your body, you make your decisions, you ask the question, show me the science. Show me the science where it says a annual mammogram has been the factor that has reduced breast cancer mortality incidence, whatever methodology you're looking toward, and what other modalities or venues could be done. And they're going to talk about gene therapy or genetic causes of cancer. You have to grow up. Genes don't cause cancer. If there is a genetic cancer problem, it is in the 1% or 2%, very extremely rare, versus it's the now competitive with heart disease, leading cause of death. So don't give me this, it's genes. It's not genes. It's hypoxia from clogged tiny capillaries. It's lack of enzymes to unblock the clots. It's lack of water. It's lack of exercise. It's lack of good sleep. It's an exhausted immune system from a wild, crazy diet, and so forth. And lack of vitamin D and so many epigenetic factors that we've been teaching for decades. And that's why my patients do so exceedingly well. And I have such a low mortality and low morbidity compared to any other doctor, because we teach all this, and we love our patients, and most of them perceive that love and they do it. And so they cut their carbs, they cut their alcohol, they cut their smoking, they move their body, they drink their water, they eat their protein, they do some vitamin D, they do some enzymes, and guess what? I have the lowest incidence of ever of cancer, heart disease, diabetes, and so forth. Praise the Lord. All right, now I'm at Armida. Hi. Is there any difference between a cream or a pill for estradiol and progesterone? Not really. Now, not all women receive the oral form versus the topical as well, or patch or sublingual drops. Is prometrium bioidentical? Yes, it is. What happens to bioidentical when it's processed through the stomach and gut? Well, if it goes in your stomach, you'll get a biphasic kind of level of absorption because it'll be reabsorbed, go through the liver and the circulation again, as opposed to just putting it on your skin. Circulation will go straight through there and it won't have the second bypass through the stomach. But the dose is all that matters. And hormones are everywhere. It's in your gut, it's in your brain, it's in your eyeball, it's in your toe. So, we're just nitpicking hairs right here to worry about that. You have to have a good doctor who will be experienced with it or under the care of a doctor. I have many doctors starting to learn about this right now, but I'm here. They walk in my office any time of the day. We have monthly rounds. We do clinical case presentations. We do article studies, and we're published here ourselves. So, we study it. We teach it here. And then she goes on to say, what is the most recommended for menopausal 58-year-olds in terms of hormones? Testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, DHEA, and pregnenolone, all of it, because the body can use every part of it. We have receptors for all of it. We can test your hormone levels. We can give you either topical or oral compounded forms of this, whether you take it through your gut or through your skin. It's the follow-up visit. It's the follow-up lab. It's asking how you're feeling. It's seeing if it's having a blood level and a clinical impact that makes you feel healthy and stronger and more vivacious. So that's what you have to do. You have to find a doctor who will do that and not worry so much about, I must see lots of patients and make money. No, you see 6, 7 or so in a day. You do a good job and you thank the Lord for that, and the Lord will bring you an income you can live on. That's how you practice medicine. Kimberly says, I'm curious to get your thoughts on the new product Apeel. I've never heard of it yet, Kimberly. The plant-based protection that helps produce stay fresh longer. I have major concerns regarding its safety and the potential harm it may cause our microbiome. Per the FDA, so who cares much today? It's got such a lousy name. When the advisory board for the vaccines, what was his name? Gottlieb. He says regarding the children back in 2021, should children be getting this experimental drug? And he goes, well, we'll just have to give it to them and see how it turns out. That's the kind of intelligence you have there in the FDA. So why should I ever give a care what they say? All right, so what is this Apeel? APEEL. And by the way, don't be a doctor if you're not consigned to being a student all the days of your life, and learn from your patients. So Kimberly, thank you. That's something I never heard of. I will check. And this is for produce. I don't know what to say about it, but I'll look into it and next week bring it up. Constance, have you ever tried liquid phosphorus for kidney stones less than a centimeter? The answer is no, and the reason why I would not is because kidney stones are usually calcium oxalate. And guess what makes most kidney stones? Not drinking enough water every day. And that Coca-Cola and the ice cream and the icing on your cake and your fellow colleague workers' cake and your grandchild's cake and all the cake, and the icing, and all the juice, and all the fruit, and all the starch, and all the Coke, and all these things have high fructose corn syrup, and that fructose in particular creates a metabolic jam in the liver cells that starts producing more uric acid and the tendencies toward calcium oxalate stones. So, you want to know how to do this? Cut way back on your fruit and your fruit sugar and your carbohydrates, and don't worry about some medical or even natural pill to try and make up for the badness in the diet that we're eating. We are out of control. We have been mind controlled and tricked to thinking what is out there called food is food. It's not food. It's junk. Maybe 15% of what's in a grocery store is really food today. Even milk is homogenized and pasteurized. It's processed. Don't touch it. All right, so let's go to the live ones here. Garden Fairy. Hi, Garden Fairy. How long after a vacation birthday with desserts, stressful event, should one wait before getting labs drawn to better reflect my normal? Good girl. I think that's a wise question. I think if I was from a vacation, I think I would fast. Well, look at August is my birthday, my husband's birthday, my son's birthday, our anniversary, and Labor Day is the first Monday of September. So every year after Labor Day in the evening, I go on a 5-day fast. Once in a while, it isn't all 5, maybe it's 4 days. And then I do my labs. So that's what I do. I fast for 3 minimum to up to 5 days. So that's what I would do, Garden Fairy. Taylor, do you answer questions from this chat or only the submission through the website? No, because I'm answering your chat right now. Christina, hi, Dr. Rita. I'm having rapid heart rate, mild chest pains on and off, clammy feet, cold, lump in the throat, bloating, digestive issues. What could be going on? Well, 1,000 different things, Christina. How old are you? What is your blood type? How late are you eating? How fast are you eating? And how much water do you drink? And what is in the food you're eating? Are you allergic to the food you're eating? And has it inflamed your gut lining? And when you eat that food and then it gets through your injured gut lining, it gets through your injured gut lining and it triggers your immune system. And then your immune system alarm goes off and your heart rate goes up. And then food, when you eat food, it'll drain from your brain and your limbs to go to your gut. And so about a third of your blood volume after a meal will rush to your gut. And then you'll get cold feet and clammy. All these kind of things can be going on. It could be your heart. It could be ischemic heart disease. So you need to see a doctor. You need to discuss this with them. Let them look at your age, your digestion, your food allergies, whether you need digestive enzymes. Should you do a stress treadmill? Check out your heart. What are your lipid profiles, fasting blood sugar, all those things, Christina. And Christina says, I remember that hot dog song. Okay, so Christina, you got to be a little bit on the older side. So wonderful. Yeah, Armour hot dog. Yeah. What kind of kids eat Armour hot dogs? I was that kid. Anyway, my dad would come home with a box. My poor mother. And there'd be a hole in it. And she would pull out like a rope and it'd be all these hot dogs, and they weren't separated. And she would have to figure out all kinds of ways to make food with hot dogs. And then she would get wholly meat. And so when they did food research, they would have all these steaks. The stockyards would come into Chicago, and you can even see them slaughter them. And you could see even the Jewish Orthodox come and do their special type of slitting, because for their Jewish laws or something. Anyway, so we get these fresh steaks, and then they would put holes in them, and they would take these holes out and shave them, and they would do chemistry testing on them and cooking testing on them and freezing testing on them and taste testing. I was in the taste testing room as a little kid, and there was like a gray light so you can see the color, and you could only smell and taste because they wanted to focus. Oh man, what a science! What a science this was. Yep, that's the Armor hot dog kid I was. Poor mommy, she was she was just really, so you could see I'm made of meat. She needed that because we had no brothers, and we had to work the farm while Dad was doing research. All right, Joanne says, good evening. I'm 58 and recently became a patient at TLC. Well, praise God. PA Patel prescribed bi-estrogen cream, wonderful, and 100 milligram oral progesterone. Will the latter increase my risk for breast cancer? Thanks. The answer is, Joanne, no. Hormones don't cause cancer. Once again, hormones don't cause cancer. If you are listening to doctors or reading books or articles that you had estrogen positive, progesterone positive pathology on a marker on the breast tissue that was considered malignant, you have a healthier risk, a lower risk for death prognosis, because the more normal the breast, the more it'll have estradiol and progesterone in it. That's the normal way. Any woman who's healthy right now, we do a little breast sample, will have estrogen and progesterone receptors. No, it doesn't cause cancer because they don't require, I guess, not enough training for doctors to be critical thinkers, read, be continuous students. You have to understand that cancer is a mitochondrial, the little batteries of your cells. And that engine gets worn out with your high carb, high octane, eating all this carbohydrate, sugar, run. Bzzz. Your poor little batteries and all your cells are being shoved all this fuel, and they spit out all these free radicals, and they damage. When they spit out a free radical, you get your own harm from your own body, not to mention all the pollution we're getting in from the environment. That's why you should be low carb. So cancer is a mitochondrial metabolic disease foisted upon you through marketing and attaboy, lobbyists, corruption, and payoffs for the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry, and that's a fact. All right, get angry, get righteous anger. All right, so no, that won't cause cancer. Christina says, I recently found out the grocery stores and food deliveries such as HelloFresh have lab-grown meat. My, lab-grown meat. Well, so find out who your local providers are. Find out and meet people. Talk to people. If someone does something natural, has eggs, find out what you can do to get it from them or what skill or thing you have. Find a farmer who has you trust and isn't bought out for money. And you don't think this practice that we have, they haven't come to try and buy me out with millions and millions and millions of dollars? No, I'm not going to sell this place or be absorbed into some monster Kaiser or monster St. Joseph's, Piedmont Medicine or whatever. No, I'm going to have our little place and we're going to run it here, and I'm going to be your representative. There you go. Local government. Robert Pinsky says, normally phytic acid is considered an anti-nutrient. True. Who would benefit from taking phytic acid? A boxer. No, Robert, that's a cute joke. Who would benefit from taking phytic acid? A boxer. Yes. Very good. I can't think of a joke. You got me there, Robert. I wasn't prepared. I was working up to the last minute before this. Okay. Taylor says, my gallbladder doesn't work. No gallstones. Taylor goes on to say, chronic diarrhea for 14 years. No GI doctor can seem to figure it out. Well, we tend to do very well with the patient that comes here that says, I've seen so many doctors and they can't fix me. And the good Lord shows us a way. So I would see a good functional medicine doctor who understands that your lifestyle is going to make the decision whether you eat the building blocks to repair it at night. So you build the barriers. Hey, build the wall, build the barrier. Sounds like barrier building is an important thing. And you have to have the phospholipids from the fats and the proteins to do that. And you have to eat it every day. And so we have to eat our egg yolks and our eggs, and we have to eat our meat, and we have to eat our fish, and we have to eat our chicken with the skin on it, and so forth. And the more so, we grow older. Alrighty. And then Joanne says, thank you for your response. Okay. I guess I got to Joanne's response already. I don't see it, but thank you, Joanne. All right. Wendy says, what do you know about Sight Care supplements? Oh, it claims to have pure ingredients to improve aging eyesight, repairing own stem cell regrowth by using alpha-lipoic, lysine, lutein, bilberry, zeaxanthin, and at least 3 other ingredients. Thank you for your continued sharing with us your knowledge and education, or educating us to rely more on healing using what God has already given us in his creation of nature. Amen. Bless you, and thank you for your answering his calling. All right, so these are phytonutrients, and in the polyphenols, they're called anthocyaninates. These are some of the biochemical special class group names of like all the blues and purples and reds and all the yellows and oranges and then the reds. These have different biochemical structures and they're given different names. So if you eat something red or blue or yellow or green, you're going to get these different polyphenols. Now, what do I use? I use the Juice Plus series. Why do I use Juice Plus? Because it has the most proven research. It is the most researched nutraceutical in the world. So that's what we use as Juice Plus. And I'm published on it. I tried to attack Juice Plus and I didn't believe it. I was a bit more full of myself back in the early 1990s when this started. I didn't believe what they were doing, but this is like a list of all the universities that have published on it. And then it's got the bioavailability. If you do buy it and you take it, will you absorb it? Dental school studied it. The Journal of Cardiology, Heart Health, the immune system studies, even on smokers. DNA, this is just amazing on the DNA studies on DNA damage and multiple studies on how it reduces DNA damage and extends life, antioxidant studies. And I use it because of skin health. Maybe some of my good skin is from all these years of using this antioxidant, as well as chelation, low carb, water, exercise, and high protein diet. Then we have anti-inflammatory studies, the IL-6, and then we have the quality of life studies on it, obesity studies in the children. It helped reduce childhood obesity, lung health, and all these publications, all these peer-reviewed third-party peer-reviewed journals, and I'm publishing it. So all that stuff for the eyeball is in Juice Plus. So I would far rather take the phytonutrient contents with all the sugar taken out and all the fructose in 30 different fruits, vegetables, and berries than to take some man's concoction of 5 items and think that that's the end all be all. So that's what I would say about eyeball sight care. Okay. Leah. Hi, Dr. Ellithorpe. I asked a question last week. Let's see. I asked a question last week. Where was I? I was eating liver. And when you eat liver, I know there's a piece in my tooth, but I didn't have time to go home and brush my teeth. So I'm here stuck trying to get that little thread of collagen out from between my teeth. All right, so I asked a question last week about being post-menopausal and hysterectomy with a possibility of endometriosis again. I had blood work done last week, and there were 2 numbers I was curious about. My alkaline phosphatase was 30. That's great. That's wonderful. Low is wonderful. And my DHEA was 332. That's fantastic. I do take DHEA daily, and guessing that is why that number is high. True. Any thoughts on these contributing to the possibility of endometriosis? No way. No, neither of these. Those are numbers that help you. So a healthy liver will show alkaline phos, AST, ALT, and if they do the LDH and the GGT, shows that you're not stressing your liver out with a high fructose, high corn syrup, sugar, fatty liver promoting disorder. And all that sugar carb will stimulate insulin, which will stimulate endometriosis to grow, polycystic ovaries, thickening of the blood vessel lining of the wall, the intima of the wall, thickening it, making it hard, and on, and cancers and tumors. So those numbers are great, Leah. Mary, one of your previous topics on blood pressure was very helpful. Thank you. In the meantime, well, I'm glad it was a blessing. In the meantime, while working to get the blood pressure down through proper diet, I wondered if it is safe to walk, exercise when your blood pressure is running high, or should I refrain during that period? Well, Mary, I don't know who you are. I would have to know more things about you to see how high. Do you have any other correlated problems? What your weight, what your inflammation markers are, these various things. Walking in general is very, very good. So I would ask you to see your doctor and tell him about all the wonderful things you're starting to do for your health. And walking should be an integral part of it. And tell them that you're going to do it unless they have some reason not to do it. Okay. So please talk with your doctor about it, because in general, it's very good. Jackie says, hello. Do you have an opinion on the mycotoxin urine screening for mold? If you use this test, do you know why someone would show an intense decline in mold on a retest when 4 months later doing the same protocol go back up? All right, well, seasonally, the warmer it gets, the more moist it gets, the more the mold grows, the more the wind and dust blows around, and the mold spores can go out, it can be breathed in, and your immune system responds to it. You can pee out metabolites in the urine. Then in the cooler months, drier, winters are usually drier, then the mold tends to quiet down, mold issues tend to go away or reduce, and then your levels will go down. And sometimes if you're doing treatment and you're not thinking about the seasonal impact of it, you might think you got treatment, it went down, when really you did some treatment, but it was getting cold season and drier, and that's why it went down, or both. So there's many reasons there, Jackie, to bring it up. I am not representing myself as a mold expert. I've done specialized training in it. I've taken a whole course in it, got a book on it, but I don't spend my time on it because I find that most of the people who get their carpets out and their cloth drapes and their plants out of their house, and they look for water damage in the house, and they get remediation, and they do these healthy things, they get better. All right, Deborah says, hi, Dr. Ellithorpe. I am scheduled for a colonoscopy due to moderate severe diverticulosis. I've been taking 6 capsules of Vitalzym due to mild atherosclerosis in lieu of aspirin or other blood thinning agents. Do I need to stop that supplement before the procedure? And if so, how long? Thank you. Deborah, they're not going to be doing surgery or cutting you for a colonoscopy. They could take a biopsy. And the only thing that 6 capsules of Vitalzym could do to thin your blood very mildly would be for that site to ooze a bit. You could stop it like 3 days beforehand, but then after the colonoscopy is done, the next day, double up for 3 days. So the safe side would be stop it for 3 days before, and then the day after, double up for 3 days and make up for it. But really, no, that I have never really seen any issue with thinning out of the blood from that. You can make the argument for water. Water thins your blood. Should you stop drinking water before surgery? Mm-mm. Anyway, let's see. What's the next one? Debbie says, hi, Dr. Rita. Just curious to ask if you have ever heard of the Amen Clinic for Mental Health and Addiction. Here is the one in California. Yes, Debbie, Amen Clinic is in Newport Beach. They have several doctors and a whole team that does these specialized brain energy, blood flow functions, and they are in favor of a healthy diet. I don't know in particular which diet they support, but yeah, I've heard of Amen Clinic, and I've only heard good things. Sandra, I'm wondering if the type of meat or amount of food eaten in a meal affects the number of digestive enzyme capsule one takes. Absolutely, Sandra, because at Thanksgiving, I'll take 5 or 6 digestive enzymes. Absolutely. So you can take 3 or 4, and at Thanksgiving, I take 5 or 6. And I shouldn't do that. That's gorging, but, what can I say? I'm human. She goes on to say, I'm also finding that Digeszyme at the end of a meal does not work as well for me as it is at the beginning. Okay. Perhaps it just depends on the person and the way their digestive system works. Bravo. See, Sandra, you and God own your body together in a joint work management relationship. Okay. And for me, I don't want to take my digestive enzyme until I eat, because in medicine and in ER medicine, I could have been called away right before I get a bite of something. And then I'd have that digestive enzyme on an empty stomach. So for me, I always take it afterwards. Maybe I should try it ahead of time. I would think in my 70s, I should be slowing down, don't you think? And I shouldn't be called away as much. Let's see, any new ones here? Amila. Hi, Amila. She says, how many clicks of Kokoro progesterone cream can I give to my 14-year-old? She's 110. She's an adult. The endless, because progesterone is wonderful. Men can have progesterone. Children can have progesterone. We're grown in our mother's womb and belly, soaked in progesterone. Progesterone is wonderful. And so for the young teenage girls with all the stress, so they don't get the cortisol shut off of ovulation, it's very good in case they're stressed and their cortisol is high and they don't ovulate, which many of them are not anymore, so that they aren't in estrogen dominance. We give them over-the-counter low-dose progesterone. She could use 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pumps and rub it on as a moisturizer day 15 through 25 of her cycle. So that's what I would do, Amila. Yasmin says, hello. It appears I've started perimenopause, and I'd like to know your thoughts on when to start testing hormone levels right away. Do you recommend a 24-hour hormone urine test? No, I don't. And consequently, starting hormone therapy replacement? No, I don't like urine tests. I don't like 24-hour urine tests. They're too cumbersome. They're incomplete. Sometimes people forget and they pee, and then they put the rest in there, and then they don't tell the truth. I get a sample. I know the day it was, and then they know whether they took their hormones, or they know when their last period was or was not. And I can figure out pretty well where your hormones are. But I need to tell you, Yasmin, a woman from age 37 to about 47, that's a whole gray zone because of so much stress and so much impact on the hypothalamic axis. Stress stops ovulation through cortisol blocking it. You become estrogen dominant. Your cycle can go off. Your mood can go off. Your lining of your uterus can build up. And if you eat a high carb diet, which most people do, you can get the polycystic ovarians and endometriosis and all this messed up life from this lousy, lousy system that is marketed to us by the American Dietetic Association recommendations. All these organizations, they're just constantly telling us, yeah, this is our recommendation. Yeah, based on what? Based on what science? And it's not there, folks. Even the American Dietetic Association. So here you are, we're eating all these lousy things. We're under stress. Hormones are out the wazoo. Our moods are out the wazoo. We're all treating each other without love, patience, endurance, compassion, forgiveness. And so there you are. Maybe next month it'll go better and you'll ovulate and you'll feel better. And then your hormones will be good. And then life will get stressful again. And then your hormones will be off. And then you eat a bad thing and your hormones will be off. So this is a yo-yo time between age 37 and 47. It's the hardest time for a doctor to help a woman. So I tell my patients, this is the hardest time. We have to be consistent. We have to use natural hormones. We need to keep a record of your cycle. We're going to test when you're on progesterone and not the first day of using progesterone, like 3 or 4 days into it, so I can get a blood level. Come and see me. Let's discuss it. Then retest in 3 to 4 months. And then we'll see kind of about your life, your stress, your work, the ages of your kids, how your marriage, how your busy life is going. And we'll see how it's running for you with all the other factors, especially the insulin and the DHEA and the testosterone and the cortisol. So it's a hard time, Yasmin, but you go and you get connected with a good functional medicine clinic and they will walk you through this. Gail says, a very good friend of ours has idiopathic neuropathy and has not been able to find relief. He is 75 years old. He suffered with fibromyalgia for years, but was able to find the right formula and routine to keep it more under control. Recently, his pain levels have been more challenging. Now he has the neuropathy in his feet. Often it feels like he's walking on glass. He's not overweight. Any suggestions? Gail, we got to repair the lining of the nerves is full of this phospholipid fat protein. He's got to become mostly a carnivore. He's got to get on enzymes. He has to do EDTA chelation therapy to remove the heavy metal toxins, improve the tiny, tiny, tiny microcirculation to his feet. And he has to be on enzymes. Have him see a very good functional doctor. Cynthia says, and it's 7 o'clock, so that'll be my last one. Our dear friend was hospitalized for tests due to fluid in the lungs and a small amount around the heart. Results concluded congestive heart failure weakness. He has been released and wants to do what is best to heal. He will be 82 in October, has been on a modified carnivore diet, blood type O, and is generally doing well until he started getting shortness of breath recently. He also has had dental work done in the recent past. What do you recommend? Thank you and God bless you. Well, Cynthia, so many different things this could be. Could there be a blood clot suddenly? Could there be a viral flu? Could it be seasonal allergies? Could it be he ate too many carbs secretly? Could it be he didn't drink enough water? Could it be he was too inactive? Could it be other comorbid problems, hypothyroid? So he needs to see a good functional medicine doctor. Now, he needs to work with his cardiologist and a specialist, but there's just so many things, Cynthia, that have to be addressed here. And there you have it. All right, so this is where we ended, okay? And then I have, how many other pages? I have 1/2, 1.5, 2.5. That's a half, so we'll call it 3 more pages. There were 7 pages here, plus all these questions. So I got halfway through the typed in ones, and I got all the way through our live questions. So my dear people, God who made you, you are special. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. You are so worth caring for. It is a privilege to practice medicine. Pray for us. Pray for our protection. Pray for our staying dedicated and studying, and that we stay motivated to show each and every one how valuable and important you are to us and to the others in your life and to our Lord. So I'll see you next week, Tuesday, 6 o'clock in the evening. The Lord bless and keep you all and take care of you. Bye-bye. Please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Please share with a friend. Okay.